U.S. and Israel striking regime sites across Iran as Operation Epic Fury continues. President Trump says negotiations are underway to end the fighting. Iran says he's negotiating with himself. Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Ying shares a slide from Dolby with the latest. Trey. Hey Brian, good morning. As Operation Epic Fury grinds on, there is talk of diplomacy once again across the Middle East. Egypt, Pakistan, and Turkey are reportedly leading mediations as Gulf countries come under continued Iranian attack. Tuesday, President Trump said Iran had given him a present worth a tremendous amount of money. He didn't elaborate on what the gift was, but said it's a sign they're dealing with the right people. As the framework for current negotiations is ongoing, here's what President Trump had to say. "You're sure they cannot have a nuclear weapon?" "Yes." I said yesterday, what did they said, what are the top 10? I said, well, number 1, 2, and 3 is they can't have a nuclear weapon. And they're not going to have a nuclear weapon, and we're talking about that. And I don't want to say it in advance, but they've agreed they will never have a nuclear weapon. They've agreed to that. Iranian officials are reportedly worried that the United States is buying time before more intense operations, but the president has indicated Vice President J.D. Vance would participate in the talks summit aimed in ending the war. U.S. and Israeli strikes have continued over the past 24 hours, putting new pressure on the Iranian regime and overnight Iran launched more barrages of ballistic missiles toward Israel. One of the cluster munitions landed in a religious community just outside of Tel Aviv, wounding at least 9 people. The Iranians plan to launch hundreds of missiles towards Israel on the first day of the operation. They fired fewer than 100 on the first day and half that amount on the second day. We disrupted these intentions and continue to disrupt them. The number of launches decreased very quickly. The average is roughly about 10 missiles per day. The regime tries to concentrate its efforts every few days and much more broadly, mainly towards population centers. The Iranians are still continuing their attacks against Gulf countries and Israel. There have been 4 missile barrages since midnight here, and so, while there is this talk of diplomacy, Iran is not showing any serious effort to try and end this conflict. Brian, doesn't seem like the U.S. is either. Thanks, Trey. You'll discuss Moore's famous speech related to George W. Bush featured contributor Mark Thiessen. Mark, you describe this effort as put the bullets out on the 20-yard line. In Iran's own end, but the last 20 yards are going to be the toughest. What do you mean? That's exactly right. Look, this Operation Epic Fury has been one of the greatest military successes that we've had in my lifetime. We are absolutely dismantling their ability to project force outside of their borders. We are dismantling their terror infrastructure. We're dismantling their infrastructure of repression. They are reeling right now. And so what President Trump is doing is following the true track policy. He is negotiating with the regime and giving them a chance to capitulate, while he is pummeling them relentlessly from the air. And so, after 3 weeks of basically, or effectively 3 weeks of operations, we got them at the 20-yard line. But you gotta get into the end zone to score. You don't get any plays for being at the 20-yard line. And so, the question is, how do we finish those last 20 yards? The last 20 yards are the hardest. What's left, all the easy targets have been hit. What's left is the hardened targets, the hidden targets, the deeply buried stuff. And we are dismantling that. We have a plan to do that, but at the same time, he's given the Iranians a chance to end this at the negotiating table, and he's ready to pursue that. Right, so we have 5,000 Marines coming in 2 separate ships. We had between 1,000 and 3,000 from the 82nd Airborne. Is that play of scoring? And continuing your analogy, getting to that last 20 yards in, would that include opening up the strait by taking some of those islands? Yeah, so it gives us more options, obviously, right? So, it gives us the option to. So how does this thing end? It ends with no nuclear weapons, no nuclear fissile material, no ballistic missile program, no massacring protesters, right? And so how do you enforce that? You put the regime in a vice grip, right? And if they violate any of those terms after the kinetic operations happen, you squeeze them. And one of this operation will end. The United States will effectively control Kharg Island. Doesn't necessarily mean we're going to have to land on Kharg Island, but we can control it militarily, and we will open the Strait of Hormuz, and that means we will control 96% of Iran's oil production, right? That's like Venezuela. We will control Iran's oil, and that means we will control their economy, and then we will have the ability to strike them if they misbehave again. So they will be effectively neutered as a terrorist state. Right, and that can be accomplished peacefully, or that can be accomplished at the negotiating table. We just don't mean we're seeing hit after hit. We don't have a sense of what's happening on the ground. but there is essentially at least 300 that besiege been killed. There's essentially. The people of Iran are waiting for the go sign from Israel and the US to go out back into the streets again. We don't want to see a massacre like what happened. Let's take a look at the board right now, and these are some of the most notable names. They are still left. Forget what they're dead, but they're still left. We're trying to figure out who we might be talking to emissaries or directly. Do you have a sense of who it is? Because we keep hearing it's a parliamentary speaker, and then other people say he does not have the leverage. It's gotta be someone in the IRGC. And now we hear that they'd rather speak with J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio than speak with Coffin Chair Kushner. Your thoughts? I think that whoever we're talking to is someone who has the authority to negotiate on behalf of the regime. Trump said the other day that they gave us a gift. He didn't say what that is, but it's a proof. Whatever it was a proof that they are speaking for the government. So look, these negotiations are real. Anyone who's running around saying, "Oh, I trust Iran more than I trust Donald Trump," is an idiot. John Brennan, the foolish director said, yes, actually, yes, that's one idiot, but that's one idiot, but there are many idiots who are running around saying that. The negotiations are real. He's right to pursue them. It doesn't mean the negotiations are going to succeed. But he's also not pausing while he's negotiating. He is pummeling them from the air, relentlessly as he's doing that, and he's right to do so. Like Jack King says, we need another 3 weeks to exit to finish our military targets, right? So this can end quickly with the Iranians capitulating, or we can continue, and it doesn't have to end in an agreement. It can end with their being basically neutered and defeated because we've completed a military test. Either one is fine. Just so you know, the Gulf states almost united in saying finish the job, especially Saudi Arabia. And the UAE is going to freeze their funds. So it's, and the UK is putting together a group to open up the Strait of Hormuz and to do some minesweeping. So the world's responding. Bart Thiessen, thanks so much. Alright, I'm gonna go do my chores. If you don't mind, yes, for Lawrence gonna give you a list. Introducing, I'm Brian Kilney. I'm Ainsley Earhart, and click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.